Welcome, everybody, to Me Time. I am so excited for you all to hear this episode. I was so excited to do this episode. Hannah Brown, I think, she's a very authentic, special, like just a loving human being. I had always been a fan. I am a watcher of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, and I also know she went Dancing with the Stars. But I did not know until recently she was also a New York Times bestselling author. Her book, Mistakes We Never Made, sounds so cute, and we're going to talk about this more in the interview. We talk about her me time, and I just have to say, this is one of my favorite interviews. Hannah is so open. She is so authentic. She is so all about love in every way, self-love, and her dog was there, and you'll know why about that later. But it was just a really special episode, and I can't wait for you all to hear. And thank you, Hannah. Also want to say at the top of this, we were having such a fun time kind of meeting and getting to know each other. And we were talking about this little Disney movie called Model Behaviors. I don't know that we mention it from the time we actually start recording. So if there's any confusion, that's what we're talking about as we lead into this episode. Please enjoy. I felt really bad because I remember being like, I was really excited about Kathy Lee Gifford paying my mom.
Yeah.
Oh my
gosh. Yeah.
The Today Show. Oh my God. And Regis and Kathy Lee, like all of that. And then, he was the nicest person. Like he was the nicest person, but that was
such a good movie. And you had to play two.
Yeah.
Didn't you do two roles? Like,
yeah. It was like two
Do you
characters.
get paid twice? Do you get paid double? For
No. And also
No
like,
way.
no. You don't get paid double. And also
I always want to know that
no
for
one.
Lindsay Lohan too. I feel like y'all are the two. It's like, did you get paid double? Because you should.
You should. I honestly I just wasn't like, I was new, and I was like It was a big deal. I remember being like, oh, okay. I'm going to go do these like two parts. And I remember coming up with like all these different like mannerisms for both of them and doing it. And I had no idea, like, what are we at, 20 something years later that would still be like a Disney thing. But of course, Justin Timberlake shortly after that became like the biggest music artists. I mean, it was like insane. But he was on the rise then. But then like shortly after Pop came out, like the Bye 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 album, and then it was like game over. Like they were everywhere.
I was not really a boy band like fan. That was not. I don't know. I just loved the movie.
Yeah, that's so sweet. Thank you. I loved it too. And there's like an NSYNC song in it, and there was like there's another like girl band in it, and then at the end, and like it was really cool. I'm really sad that like Disney Plus won't, for some reason it's not.
I know.
On
I
streaming.
tried to look for it.
Stop it.
No, I'm okay. I'm one of those people like one of the things that really like calms me is watching old Disney movies or shows. So
I love that.
I try to like find the things of my past that I love. So I've looked up Model Behavior and it's not on there. Disney Plus.
Oh my God. I love this. So part of Hannah Brown's me time is watching old Disney movies to, oh my God. This is actually
like
very
started
sweet.
101 Dalmatians yesterday.
Stop it.
Yeah. Like that is like the thing that I do when I want to watch something and just like soothe myself if it's been a really long day or had a hard conversation, like just turn on some old Disney.
That's good me time.
Yes.
Like that is good me time. What other ones? Wait, what? 101 Dalmatians?
Yes. Well, also this is something in my therapy where I'm really big into therapy.
You're so sweet. I love how like open you are, but this is like, we're going to get to that in a second too, which is why keep going.
But my therapist just trying to drill in this whole topic of compassion and accountability and how like it's so important to have both of those for yourself, for other people. And she was talking about, she's like, you should watch these like different movies where it shows like Batman and the Joker. So you can like obviously like hold accountable for the Joker being a bad guy. But then when you see the movie The Joker, you like have compassion to like, oh, it kind of makes sense why he turned into this character. Yeah. So she was talking about 101 Dalmatians and Cruella is one of my favorite movies. And I was like, that sounds good. I'll watch 101 Dalmatians. It's been a minute. So that's where that all came from doing like this little training. And just trying to be a better person just all around, like be able to like show up for myself better.
Yeah.
Show up for other people in a more compassionate way, but then also like holding strong. I can definitely come in sometimes and be like a firm believer in what I think's right in times, and sometimes not have compassion for maybe where other people are coming from it from a different way. And really learning how to do that, I think, is so important for us all.
Yeah.
And so
that's great.
Yeah.
That's really important. And also, so a minute ago, we were all talking about how, how many fans there are of The Bachelor and Bachelorette and all of that. And you were saying, yeah, it's like, it's funny, people who love reality TV. And I have to stop you there because there are a lot of people on reality TV, but like, you embody something else totally. And you just sort of explained why. And this is why I think so many people connect with you specifically. Like, you are so authentic. You are always so authentic. You are so loving. You are so compassionate, but like that came through, like always. There was like, yeah, like that's just so, I don't think that's reality, like just anybody and fans. I think it's very specific to Hannah Brown because you represent, there is something so authentic and disarming about you anyway, and that is because of who you are. Like you lead with all of that. So I just want to say that because I was like, she's not going to get away with saying like, oh, this is everybody else. I'm like, no, it's not. It's I'm sorry, I just hit the microphone, but you know that. I hope you know that. Like,
thank you.
Yeah, and that is why. Like, so I was driving up today, and Hannah was like, I need to like walk Wally for a minute because I've been at therapy. Just like an open book.
Yeah.
That is like so disarming for other people to just like sit in and be themselves. Like you give people permission to be themselves with you.
Thank you. Anyway. I appreciate that. I think sometimes it can be disarming in another way sometimes because I am just so honest, and it's great when you meet people who are like, oh my gosh, I love that. Tell me more. But then sometimes people are like, what is wrong with you? I can't believe you just said that. I'm like, why wouldn't I?
Because I think there's so much judgment and so much around that people aren't comfortable talking about. And you've always been like, that's why everyone connects with you. Yeah. You are open.
I sometimes wish I knew another way, but I just don't. And I think you're so right. Like for the right people, it's so connecting and so validating, and it gives other people permission to be themselves too.
Yeah.
I just think in the long run, it's just better to just figure out how to I don't have to figure it out. It's just like truly be authentic and then learn how to like grow and change from that. I'm so thankful for people who have like found me like on reality TV, but I've changed so much since then. And that's awesome too. But there is still that sense of like who I am that's not gone anywhere.
Yeah.
But just having conversations about that's just super important to me because it allows other people to change and
not feel alone.
Themselves. Yeah.
Also, like, and you've literally brought everyone with you on the journey between like podcasts and books. We're going to talk about your books, which is like so cool. And thank you, by the way, thank you so much for doing this because I'm so excited to meet you, but also like you're just this incredible person. I feel really lucky that I get to sit down and like talk with you about it. So you have a book coming out that I'm so excited. Well, I'm going to tell you what it kind of reminded me of when I heard it and tell me if I'm on. So it's called Mistakes We Never Made.
Yes.
And I'll let you talk about it, but I first want to when did being an author, because you're already a best-selling author, when did being an author, like did you always want to be a writer?
I always had that dream. Like before all these really, cool opportunities came along, I remember being with my mom in our kitchen, sitting on the kitchen counter and telling her probably in like high school or college, being like, one day I think it'd be really cool to write my own book. And so that now that that's been a reality is just truly like my first dream come true. I could have never dreamt up being on a hit show or, having the opportunities that I've had. I'm so thankful for them. But this has been like the thing that has been truly like a pinch me moment, like something that I thought of and hoped for actually becoming something that's out there for other people, and people have been loving it. But it's been so cool. I didn't know I would be doing romance novels, but I love them. first of all, for myself. And I feel like people, especially with just life now, like there's so much of it that can be hard, like having something to escape to and to just get lost in somebody else's love story. But then also what's really important to me in my books is that there's like truth and authenticity there. That there's real struggle for a character that they're having to like learn about themselves and grow. Like that was equally as important for me as giving a happily ever after at the end. And so it was fun to be able to do that with Mistakes We Never Made. The book is about Emma, who's kind of like this type A girl who just always seems to just take charge of everything, even when she doesn't have to. And it's her best friend's wedding weekend, Sybil. And all's going fine until she runs into her, I wouldn't fully say frenemy, but kind of like the guy in her past, Finn, that just, they always seem to just not miss each other. And there's still like some bad blood there, but they're there to support Sybil until, and everything's going great until Sybil goes missing. And so, of course, Emma takes it upon herself to go track down Sybil, but she has to enlist the help of Finn. And so they go on this crazy road trip together and really had that time to have the hard conversations that they probably should have had a long time ago, reconcile old miscommunications, and ultimately fall in love along the way as they try to race to find Sybil before the wedding day. So it's a really fun read, but there's like some real stuff they have to work through together. And it's always good to have that close proximity to make it happen.
Love that.
Yes.
I gotta say, I immediately went to like When Harry Met Sally.
Oh, of course.
Like, come on. I was like, and then they have like all the like, and
yeah,
it's like,
it's like the Harry Met Sally and The Hangover kind of had a baby.
Oh my God, how fun. Yeah.
You know, we wanted that like fun, like their race against the clock type thing.
Yeah.
And they end up being in Vegas for a while. So it's a fun time.
I mean,
yeah.
Like, it sounds like a movie.
That's my dream.
Okay, good. I was like, can I ask that? Because I don't want to like, obviously, I mean,
it's really hard for that to happen. Like,
I love it.
It's,
of course that's really, yes, but like it's, I want to see that story. I also want to read it.
Trying to play.
It's okay. Linus will tell him what's up.
She's calm. He doesn't understand the difference of like size.
You're so cute. I'm excited about this book, and I'm like, I really want to see like the movie version of it too. But I'm like,
that is like where I did write it in mind of like what would I want to see on screen, because movies and television have always been like an escape for me. Like I said, like it's kind of like my me time. What I love getting lost in a movie. Like the visuals of that just as much as I love reading a good book. And I think just being able to bring this creative piece into another art form would just be like another just dream come true.
But I love that you started with writing it and just getting like it out on paper. Do you have a Finn?
Yeah, I think I probably have multiple Finns in my life. People that, you know, if we could have had the tough conversation, where would we be?
Totally.
You know, like I think so many times in our life, and this is not just in just romantic relationships, it can be in friendships. Like there's so many things that were left unsaid or not finished. And what if we had the opportunity years later to reconcile? Like what would that do? That would be a gift for so many people. And that doesn't mean it ends up in a relationship moving forward like it does in this book. But I think it's just so healthy. So I wanted to be able to like show that like you can change, you can grow, you can say sorry, and there can be hope from that and repair.
I love that. I love that you're like exploring that too through like telling stories in these, like creating these characters and telling stories in like this romantic way. Who would you say, who is like, if you had to cast Emma, who would be like your like dream person?
Okay, I think
they're so funny.
He's
fine. Okay. Linus is fine. Don't worry. No. Like I Linus is actually into it. Like he's like egging him on. Get him. He is. But then he'll go over and be like, "Play with me, bro." Get him, Linus.
Wally's having fun. I can tell. I'm just like.
So is he. He's like, oh my God, this is so much fun. See, I told you, he's teasing him. Oh my God, I'm like,
They do. I mean, he likes them. That's for sure. What is it? Linus.
Like Linus and Lucy. Yeah. Like Charlie Brown. Okay, wait. So Emma, who would be?
I love Sadie Sink.
Oh my God, yes.
I just think she's amazing, and I haven't seen her like play that type of characters. That would be cool.
I love that you said that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I mean, Emma Stone would be like, she's like the top actress out there, but like, I think Sadie Sink is like definitely like somebody that I could see actually playing this and would be like really great at it.
And Finn, I'm literally,
gosh, Wait, why am I blanking? Oh, I think Jordan Fisher would be really cool.
Oh my God. Yeah. I love that you like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
And he's
They're
from
gonna
Alabama, which is like, really cool.
Oh, that's so cute.
And I just think he's really talented, and also just think you would crush that role.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I love that.
But in the paperback version, there is like some added fun little bonuses in the back. And then Finn's road trip, there is a reading group guide. Sorry, there's a reading group guide.
Okay.
And then I'm also working on a second book called The 4 Engagement Rings of Sybil Rain. And there is a sneak peek of the first chapter in the back of that too.
Is the Sybil connected?
Yes.
Yes,
so it's Sybil's story, which I'm so excited for people to read. And it was really cool. Like people who have read the book already, like they're so pumped to hear more about Sybil because it definitely kind of leaves you with a good cliffhanger, I feel to be able to share her story. Because ultimately, writing these books, it wasn't first about like relational love, like between, two partners. It really was about the love that you have for the women in your life that just support you, like the core 4, Willow, Nikki, Sybil, and Emma. That was kind of my first like love story that I really wanted to make, like how they show up for each other. And each of those characters are kind of a part of me in some way. And so it kind of like allows me to create characters from different parts of me that I think are important. And there's a reason why I am the way that I am. And in those moments, and being able to like really like make a character from that is really cool. And just how they love each other, I think, and show up is just really cool. So to be able to show Sybil's story and then how Emma helps her, how Willow and Nikki kind of come into those stories has been fun.
I love that. What would we do without our girlfriends? Oh my God.
I don't know. They have helped me off so many cliffs.
Oh my God.
To just like come back to reality.
Yeah.
I think those friendships are so important in our lives, like more than we know until we're in some of these situations that we find like in Emma or Sybil and those moments in our life where it's just so good to have people who can remind you who you are.
Yeah.
And talk you out of the lie of what you like are beginning to believe about yourself. Like that is what friendship is for.
Hannah, you're just like, this is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
But just, it's so well thought out and like also so deep in, I don't know, in connection to you too, the books being such an extension of like you and seeing yourself and all the different characters and being so open to share all of that and the good, bad, and the ugly. That's the only way I know how. Like the authentic, it kind of goes back to that authenticity piece. Right. It's like, I can't write from anything that I don't know. Like, no, have I ever been stuck in a car for multiple hours with an ex? That's just like the situational stuff, and not the emotional.
But the emotional, like I know what it feels like to have a Finn in my life. I know what it feels like to feel like you have to take control of everything to get something done, or that pressure that you may feel. Oh my gosh.
Linus is egging him on. Do not worry about him, please. Look at Linus. He loves it. He's like, oh yeah? Oh yeah?
He's just like, he's going to start bark. He gets a little vocal. Oh.
Wally, we're going to get to your podcast in just a moment, okay?
Star.
I just love this. And I want to talk about your me time. So we mentioned Disney movies that you, by the way, that is so like, I feel like Disney movies have so many lessons and messages. Like you mentioned, like your therapist, even like the villains and talking about well, the villains, like
Yeah.
I say that just because like if you, as you said, like sometimes you like you just don't know the backstory or we don't know this or that or the other, whatever. And so what else do you do? So I thought about you. I was like, you've been out in like a very public eye for a while, and also like that show is like they're following you around. I don't know how much of it is like do you ever get a break in like how they're how they're filming you, and you don't have to even like talk about all of that. But I was like, how did you find your me time in a house full of people who are all like going after a, like in that situation? Like, or did you?
Yeah. So when I was on The Bachelor and you're one of 30 women, I was really intentional about finding my me time. And for me was journaling. I just really, I was from small town Alabama. I'd never like been out of the country before. And my first flight out of the country was to Singapore. Like there was a lot of insane. Like life changes and seeing the world in ways I never had. And then, on a show to like maybe get engaged, like there was a lot that I was processing. And because like if you're not on a date, you're just back at the house or wherever your location is, you can't do much. You don't have your phone. You don't have books. You don't have music. Like you're either talking to the girls or being filmed in some way. And so just to have some moments where I could really process how I was feeling. Oh, now he's done.
Well, I mean, Linus, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to say Wally. I meant to say Linus because he's definitely very, hey, be nice.
Tell him.
Yeah.
He needs it. So for me, it was very important to have those moments where I kind of just stepped away from the girls, stepped away from it all, and just really checked into how I was feeling, what was going on.
I love that you were journaling. Like you are a writer. Like
I was definitely like, that was a part. Hi. You're trying to make him jealous.
Very pet friendly. We're dog friendly pods over here. Yes.
And so for sure had time there, which was great. And that's why I honestly loved being on The Bachelor. I loved being on The Bachelor. It was so fun. Like that was a blast because you're getting to have all these crazy experiences. You're learning more about yourself if you like take the time, because you're having like a lot of life experience in such a condensed amount of time. When I was The Bachelorette, it's a very different story. I maybe slept 4 hours a night, and I was filmed the whole time because you're the star, and being on production, like every minute is money, and so they wanted to get as much as they could, and so it was like a crazy job, and it was very, very different than being a contestant as far as just working and not really having any moments to really reflect and before I'm going to like make out with another guy. And so that was really challenging for me, and like honestly, like moving forward for my mental health, that was like a real struggle to just try to ask for moments. And sometimes I would just have full out breakdowns on camera. I mean, most of the time on camera, because that was just the life that I was in.
How could you not?
How could you not? No, like, I mean, you're so sleep deprived.
Yeah.
You're having to make really big life
and
choices
in a moment in front of everyone. Yeah.
So it was tough. So there was not much me time there. And then I will say, like, I really struggled after that for a while, like for a couple of years, and my mental health really like took a beating in a way. But that it really forced me to work on lots of parts of myself that for years, I'd never done therapy before. Like I'd journaled and like found some processing tools through just liking to write myself and being able to like kind of put pieces together. But after that, like me time didn't become just like this, what would I say? Like
a part of your life, or like
it wasn't just like a leisure thing, that it was
right.
like, it's so important that it became like a part of my everyday for me to heal and grow and be able to fully process things that I never had before, and make correlations to why maybe I responded in different seasons of my life the way I did. So me time for me now is essential and not just something that I do sometimes. Like it is part of my week. It's part of my day. Because I feel like it's really easy for me to just dissociate, focus in, and just do the thing that I need to do and do it well, but not really like process how it's making me feel in the moment. I was like, oh, that can come later, until later comes. And it's like, now we have a backlog of years that needs to be addressed. I've been doing the work, and it's been hard and taken a lot of time, but it's been so worth it to be able to reflect and see changes that have improved my quality of life and how I can show up for myself and for the people around me. And
I love that. Thank you for talking about that too, because that's why I sort of make this podcast, is like, what are the things we do to come back to ourselves? And then also like for me, like how do I know when I'm at that point? Like when my tank is on empty, like what do I, like, I know for me, it's like I get snappy. I can tell if I have like road rage. I'm like, all right, we are not in a good place, you know? Yeah.
So I just actually just came from therapy, like I said. And that was one thing that we were talking about in my session. I have been doing this thing called neurofeedback, which really kind of looks at your brain waves and just shows where like your alpha, beta, theta, delta waves are. And you can do a lot of these different types of, oh my gosh, I guess it would be like not brain games, but like these things that you can do to help soothe areas that need to be soothed, engage areas that need to be engaged, and stop. And one thing, like my brain's kind of been in a little bit of burnout. So, and that shows up. So like, what can I do to be able to change that? And obviously like this neurofeedback like process that I'm doing is going to help, but what can I do in my schedule? So like I'm going to start having days, which I know this is a privilege that I have, but like, if it's Monday or Tuesday where that's a full day for me, where I am in like executive functioning, processing in my brain, where it's like, all right, we're going to get all these things done on this day, but like, it's really important for me to have an off day. And for some reason, I don't allow myself to do that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I need to be doing more. And so I don't ever really shut off. And so she really challenged me to look at my schedule when I get back home and like have an off day where I don't do anything but have a me day.
I love
and
that.
I was like, that sounds like a dream. And she's like, you have the privilege to be able to do that if you will rearrange some things and organize it for that to be done. So that's kind of my challenge that I got today. So
and I won't quiz you on like what would your me day look like, because I was like, you're figuring that out. But I think it's so important. I love that. And I also love like you kind of discovered that together. And also like our brain, like we do burn out. I mean, that I think happens. I mean, honestly, sometimes I just need to like step outside and like stand in the sun and feel it on my face, but like feel it. Yeah. For a couple of minutes, not just like, oh, the sun feels nice. Like, how am I feeling? Like, where am I at? And it really is crazy. Like sometimes just little things like that can like change your entire nervous system.
Yeah.
Okay. So, two things I ask people. Well, we kind of covered like the me time thing, but like, I always ask people, their like a moment of impact that happened in their lives. So like a moment of impact that you had where you knew, I describe it as a moment where you knew you would never be the same person you were before that event. So your life takes a turn. And sometimes for most people, it's always like, oh, I lost my job, or like something happened, or it's like a positive thing. Like, oh, my baby, my kid was born, or like whatever. But like some moment in your life where you're like, oh, for me, I know it was like a few years ago when my dog died. It like all happened really suddenly. And so that's sort of why I'm making the other podcast I'm making as well, because and by the way, you don't have to answer it.
Yeah.
But if you did, that's the only, that for me is how I sort of discovered why I need me to take care of myself, was like I had some things happen where I was like, oh my God, I could never be the same person after this event. Like I am changed forever because of this event. Anyway, so
I could say 2020, just in a nutshell, there was multiple things that kind of happened that year that really made me realize that there had to be some changes. My life changed drastically.
It was also COVID.
It was COVID, and there was a lot of personal stuff going on that my body literally started like shutting down on me. So it's hard to just say like fully one thing.
But a year. That's sometimes how it happens.
Year just was like, you've been going so hard. I mean, I think I was living with my parents. I had $72 in my bank account, and then I go on the show, and then my life like completely changes. Yeah. I think I was on like 30, was it like 36, 33 Mondays on ABC in 1 year. Like I was
went from The Bachelor to Dancing with Stars to
Bachelor. Like it was 3, and like that speed, that environment that I was put in was not normal and not sustainable without the proper support around me, the community, and just I was just pretty lost and honestly like pretty sad. Even though I was getting to do like really cool things, I realized, especially now, like I can't remember half the things that I did. Like it really, like I was in such
present in it because
a grind that like I really couldn't like take it in, and then like that manifested like rapidly in my body, and so I would say there was like this moment that I was like where I really realized, oh wow, like this has affected everything. It was my legs are really hurting, and then I knew that I felt like my circulation was bad, and I couldn't make it up my stairs to my apartment.
What?
And my neighbor, I was like, something's going on. Like, I can't move.
Right.
And she took me to the emergency room, and they were like, this is like anxiety. And it was, you could see, like, I had no circulation. I had no, like there was physical things. I was like, wait, like, there's something going on. And they're like,
stress.
It's stress.
God.
And
people don't understand that, what it does to our bodies. Like
everything.
Crazy.
Like I had no control anymore, like of the way any room I walked into made me respond. And it was just showing up in so many different things. Like, and that kind of was when it was like, all right, I got to get real about this healing journey, and have been kind of on it ever since. And it's just, when I think about that, I'm like, wow, like my whole body hurt all the time. I was in such a fight or flight,
like survival
time,
mode,
like survivor mode. And I've just made the changes, and I feel so much better. And there's still so much to be done. Like I said, when you have like a lot of things in your past that you've never addressed, like it takes a bit. But my life was really never the same after that, like physical manifestation of everything that was happening.
That's
like
how it happens.
Showed up.
Sometimes our bodies just like force us. They're like, oh, you're not going to rest? Oh, you're not going to take care of yourself? We're going to take care of it for you.
Yeah.
You're going to be forced to. Like
totally.
They just breaks down. Okay. Thank you for like, that's intense. When it happens physically, when something happens like physically, like that's terrifying too.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I know a lot, like I can't control like my body. Like my body's telling me I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Like and good for you though, for
Thank
like
you.
actually
Thank you.
listening and doing something about it. Hannah, what are 3 things you absolutely cannot live without? And they don't, like, obviously Wally, obviously your loved ones,
of course, yeah.
But like, it can be this, like, I just like can't live with that, like, whatever, my morning coffee or my favorite eye cream, or like, I had a friend once who was like, my cigarette at the end of the day.
I love it.
Yeah.
No, I know. I don't smoke.
Right.
But I know I would love to smoke.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I've had a cigarette, but like it's a puff. I've never like had a full cigarette myself, I'll say, but like I think I could get down with it. Like I
could too, Hannah. I could too. I swear.
I get it. I don't want to, but I get
Look, we're not promoting smoking in any way, but like,
but it makes sense to us.
It makes sense to us on every level. On every level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except for the health part, I guess.
Yes,
but like,
yes.
you know, the rest of it makes good sense.
Seems nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's funny to say I couldn't get this up because I did just give it up for like 14 days, but I'm back. We're back. I love just a little sweet treat.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Why'd you give it up?
You know, I was spiritual faith reasons. I was just trying to
gotcha.
reset. Mm-hmm. And it's not the thing that I like need, but I sure want it. Okay. And I don't want to give it up fully. And so like a sweet treat at the end of the day, whether that's just like just a little candy.
Yeah.
It's a little scoop of ice cream. It doesn't have to be like just like the biggest dessert you've ever had, but I need a little something sweet.
I hear you.
My pillow pet that I've had, it's ridiculous, that I got from Disney, and I'm obsessed with it, and I take it everywhere, and I look like a weirdo, but I don't care.
I don't even know what it is.
It's like a stuffed, mine is Sully from Monsters Inc., but it's like a stuffed pillow that has a little head, and it's the perfect travel pillow, and it just sleep with it, take it on the plane. It's embarrassing, but God. I don't care.
Oh my God, I love this so much.
Never giving that up, and they don't make them anymore. And so
oh my God,
I guess it's just going to be like a rag at one point.
That is so cute.
Yeah.
I love this.
And then honestly, what else would I never give up? I don't really ever want to give up TV.
We love TV.
We love it. Like I said, it's kind of the way I like to wind down. A good Disney movie or just a nice episode of Gilmore Girls. Don't take it away from me.
You can't go wrong.
Don't take it away. I could probably at this point in my life be okay if they're like, you can never listen to music again. That would be so sad. Yeah. But don't take away my way that I like calm down with a good like Gilmore Girls episode, or
I love it.
A nice little 90s Disney movie.
I love all of that so much. I also want to be cognizant of
all
your
those at the same time. It's also nice with the pillow pet, with the sweet treat, and the good show in the background. Like
that's my your me time, your perfect me time night.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, I love it so much. Thank you so much. We'll move into doggies because I want to be aware of your time. But like, thank you so much. I'll give you a proper like send off. But like, I have to just say, you're a thing. I don't know. You're a force, and you're
so sweet.
Are so open, and you talk. You're so aware of so many things in yourself. Like I'm just like listening to you. I'm like, yes, like you could be. I'm like, you could be a therapist for people in a way, and you're leading people. I feel like that way towards feeling comfortable talking about this. Like that's how your being open makes other people be open. You talking so openly about like recognizing things in yourself, like that leads, like that's how you help people. So like you're doing that. It's like it's really something.
Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that. I've been kind of thinking like, what do I really want to do? And I think talking more openly about this and figuring out ways to do that in a way that's more accessible for people, which obviously like my social platform really helps that. But I think at first I needed to go through it myself, and I've talked about it, but not really like all the ups and downs and the hard conversations and hard realizations that I had. So I'm excited to continue doing that, whether that's through a good book or through a podcast conversation like this.
She's doing it all. You're doing it all.
Yes.
And writing books. Thank you all so much for listening to this very special episode of Me Time. Hannah is so wonderful, just a sweet human being, and honestly, one of my favorite episodes so far. Go buy her book. It sounds so fun, and hopefully at some point we'll see it on the big screen. But in the meantime, she's a fantastic writer, and we'll be back next week with an all new episode. Next week's will be a solo episode, and we will see you then.